Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. And yes, it's the second show of the week. It is the preview show, as we did last week. Sorry that it is a little bit later. I woke up a bit sick yesterday and had a blocked nose, so I thought rather than having you hear me sniffle the whole time, I thought I'd just do it today. But without further ado, let's start previewing the game. Obviously, we've got the Good Friday game as well, and then the Easter Monday one as well. I'm not sure how if I'm going to do the Monday and then the preview of the next round will be with the Easter Monday combined yet or not. But without further ado, let's preview the games coming up, obviously starting with tonight. And it's the Brisbane Lions v. the Collingwood Magpies at the Gabba, 7:30 p.m. Now, Brisbane Lions are 5-0. Collingwood is still starting to have started to find their feet. But I'm, as a Collingwood supporter as well, I'm not 100% convinced with us, with the Magpies, sorry. But one player that I want to put a spotlight on for the Brisbane Lions is Hugh McCluggage. He's been absolutely enormous for the Brisbane Lions midfield. He's actually getting clearances and upping his tackles. Looked to be playing a bit more inside, an inside role rather than out on the wing. And it was just a couple of weeks ago, he had 12 tackles in the weekend, 6 clearances and 6 tackles as well. I think he's been exceptional. And Chris Fagan has said, expect them to try and nullify Nick Dacos's role in the game tonight. I don't think they'll go a hard tag, but what I think they'll do, they'll pluck Josh Dunkley on him around stoppages, and he's a big brute. He'll be hard to move, so it'll be interesting to see how Dacos and Collingwood can manipulate that. But Brisbane Lions I get to put a full full game of footy together. So when they do, that's scary. The fact that they're only playing 2 or 3 quarters a week and still 5-0 is really scary. Obviously, Eric Hipwood kicked 5 last week, 5 in the second half. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game, but I'm going to be going the Brisbane Lions by 26 points. I just think they get it done. Get it done in the midfield, and their backs will probably lock down their forwards, I think. But I think majority of what there is, they're going to get it done in the midfield because they're so quick. They're high half forwards who come up and can go in the midfield. Another player who's having an exceptional start to the season, as I mentioned in the review podcast on Monday, is Zach Bailey. He's been enormous going into centre bounces and also kicking multiple goals a week. Kicked 3 goals and had 20 disposals last week. So he's another one. And I don't know if the Collingwood have anyone really that can really run with them. So I don't think it'll be a mauling, but I'm going to be backing the Brisbane Lions by 26 points. Moving over to the North and Carlton, the Good Friday match, 3:20 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. And both coaches need to make a statement, I think. They both have got 1 win on the board. Carlton with their first win on the weekend against West Coast by 71 points. But I don't think we can read too much into that because it is West Coast. But I think both coaches have the opportunity to make a real statement in this game. Both coaches have been under fire from their supporters and from the media. Both probably about the same amount. Maybe Vossi a little bit more. But I think one of these clubs needs to make a statement and come out and win by 6+ goals. And I think that club, it's going to be the Carlton Football Club. I think they'll get their 2 in a row on the trot. But I wouldn't be surprised if North Melbourne do win it as well. If their midfield can get going, the Davies, Uniacke, Sheasel, Simpkins been really good, impacting the scoreboard as well. But I don't know if they're going to keep up with the likes of Walsh, Cripps, Hewitt, Chera. So it's going to be interesting to see that. We'll see if Pitnet's named as well, but obviously Harry Mackay and Brody Kemp down there. So it looks like Charlie Curnow will probably be one of the standalone key forwards down there. But with Charlie Curnow, that doesn't really matter because he's so good of a player. But I just feel like one of these teams needs to make a real big statement and say, hey, we're not here to stuff around, and really backing their coach and their team. So I'm going to be backing the Carlton Football Club to win this by 6+ goals. And then following that game, we'll go over to Optus Stadium at 6:10 p.m. and it's going to be West Coast v Essendon. Now, this might not be a thrashing, I don't think, because obviously West Coast beat Essendon last year as well. At Optus Stadium. It's just an Essendon thing to do if you ask many Essendon supporters. Zach Merritt's in career best form. Him and Matt Rowell will be neck and neck for the Brownlow, in my opinion. Neck and neck the AFL app just came up. Thought it was the teams for Friday night. If it was so, I was going to read that out. But yeah, I just think I think West Coast don't win this, but I can see it not being a smashing. But Essendon, I think, have been actually playing really well. They've been in majority of their games. Jordan Ridley is such a key player down there in the defence for him. Mason Redmond's been good. And Zach Reed's really starting to find his feet in my opinion. Obviously, Zach Merritt in the middle has been enormous. Sam Durham. Dylan Shields made his move from half-back. Obviously, they weren't happy with that. They've put him in the midfield. He's actually been really impressive. Draper now with Nick Bryan going down with an ACL will play the standalone ruck role. I thought it was working with them two in the side. So it'll be interesting to see how Draper goes as a standalone ruck. We know he can do it, but it'll be interesting to see if they bring in a Peter Wright or do they bring in Todd Goldstein to help him out. But I'm going to be going Essendon in this game. I just think on paper they should beat him quite comfortably. But being at Optus Stadium, I can see it being a closer game than what some tips may have it saying. Then we move over to Saturday, and one club that really needs to make a big statement at the MCG. And fans just need to get out there and show up in numbers because they're getting MCG games as their home ground, but only getting 15,000, if that, to games. That's Melbourne v Fremantle. Now, Fremantle had the big raps coming onto them in this season. Probably been a bit underwhelming than what people would have thought. But a bit underwhelming what people would have thought. But coming in, I had them in the top 4 side. They're not quite looking at it at the moment. I really like the look of Murphy. Reid could possibly be the rising star at the moment, or one of them up there. Josh Tracy, obviously, is in huge form as we speak. I believe he's second in the column. He's equal first in the column with Ben King on 17. Kicked 6 on the weekend, and he works up the ground too. That's what's so impressive about Josh Tracy. And I just think, while it's at the MCG and the Demons need to make a statement, I think Freo get the job done here. They've added Hayden Young back into that side as well. And when he finds his feet back after obviously his first game last week and took a really good mark as well, I just think on paper Fremantle are the better team, and I think Sarong Brayshaw will run over the top of Viney, Oliver and Petrarca. It's interesting to see how they play. Petrarca obviously doesn't look 100% happy at the moment. We can only go by his body language, but they all need a lift in there. I think they need to inject Trent Rivers in there a little bit more than they are right now, just to include some pace and polish, I think, because he did a really good job last year when Petrarca was out. So I think Trent Rivers needs to be spending a bit more time through that midfield, but I think Fremantle will get the job done in this game. Now, the next game I'm really interested in, Saturday, 4:15 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. It's the Crows v the Giants. The Giants, I think, are the best team in the competition at the moment. I think I prefer them over the Brisbane Lions for the fact they're so quick and they're so tough. Adelaide, who started off the season really well, have lost 2 in a row now. They come dropping their most recent Adelaide Oval appearance to Geelong in Gabba to open it, but I think they'll definitely be looking to respond in a way, but they're coming up against a really, really strong Giants. So obviously, James Peatley and Isaac Cumming will be coming up against their old teams, but they're just so good. Toby Green's back to the form that we know of Toby Green. Kicked 5 last week. Jesse Hogan down there, I think, can really challenge the Adelaide defence. I think the GWS midfield is better than the Adelaide Crows midfield, although they have started off well. Jordan Dawson, Isaac Rankin, Crouch, Shaligo. But I think the likes of Tom Green, Callahan, Kelly, who am I missing? Tom Green, Callahan, Kelly. I'm definitely missing someone, and I do apologise. Let me just double check as we look over here. Cal Ward on a wing, who's really made a new name, added an extra year, in my opinion, to his career. But he's known as that hard head. Cement Head was his name when he came across to Jerry West, was given to him at a young age at the Western Bulldogs. And he's made his own on a wing, and he goes back, runs hard both ways, goes back, takes intercept marks, but also hits the scoreboard, having 27 and 1 last week. Jacob Ware's an up-and-coming midfielder in there. There is definitely someone I was missing. If we have a look, Harvey Thomas is good, and Jake Stringer, it was good to see him kick his first goals for the club. If I imagine they do like to use Toby Bedford as a tagger, so I think they'll send him to Isaac Rankin. He's the real game changer in there, can turn a game on its head, impact the scoreboard. So look to see Toby Bedford run with Isaac Rankin, but I'm going to be going the Giants with this one. Then Saturday night, we got Richmond and the Gold Coast Suns. Darren Rioli comes up against his former team, as is Damien Hardwick comes up against his former team at Marvel Stadium. We know how much Dimmer hates going to Marvel Stadium. But I think this one should be no problem. I think the Gold Coast Suns, there's not much to talk about in this game. I think the Gold Coast Suns get this done quite comfy. Matt Rao in Brownlow favourite form. I think Rao, Anderson, Miller playing that half-forward midfield role, and he's doing it exceptionally well. Will just be too much for the Tigers. Bailey Humphrey comes in and pinch hits in there as well. I think it'll just be way too much for Richmond. But I'm interested to see the battle between Witts and Nankervis. Both two big, strong boys, like to throw their weight around, so it'll be interesting to see that battle. But I'll be going the Gold Coast Suns quite comfortably in this game. Then Sunday, we just had the two games starting it off at the SCG. We got Sydney and Port Adelaide. Sydney are just going after the losing the premiership last year in a very convincing way to Brisbane. But I expect them to bounce back at their home ground this game. Port Adelaide, although just came off a massive win against Hawthorn to round out Gabba round, and they were really, really impressive. They're definitely a different team when Zach Butters is in that team. Connor Rosie made a move to halfback. We'll see if that continues for the rest of the season. He looked really good down there, 28-2 he had. But Zach Butters just looks like the heart and soul of that team. Contested ball, he gets it. Horn Francis, when he's on, looks like one of the top 10 players in the competition. Just so electrifying. But I think the City Swans, if they are to respond, they need to respond against a team that would be up on a high after last week. Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner needs to find a bit, I think. But I'm going to be going to Sydney Swans purely because it's at the SCG, but not with a lot of confidence. Now at Marvel Stadium, to round out the Sunday game, 7:20 p.m, we have the Western Bulldogs v St Kilda. Both teams have started off really well. I think Western Bulldogs will welcome back Marcus Bontempelli after a stint on the line, and they've done really well to cover him. Tom Liberatore really stood up. They found midfielder in Joel Frazier. Ed Richards did what he did second half of last year when he was moved into the midfield, just has continued that form. Sam Darcy's continuously dominating opposition key defenders. I believe, he's second in the Coleman if I have a look at the moment. No, he might be third. Sam Darcy's kicked 14 goals, but what it is, he can pinch it in the ruck, and he gets plenty of the balls. He takes marks. He works high and hard up the ground. I really like Riley West's game last week, 24 and a goal. I thought he was impressive going in a bit in the midfield too. Expect to see him play a little less midfield time, though, with Bontempelli back. But I wouldn't be surprised at the same time if they play Bontempelli a bit more forward, just to ease him back into the game, ease him back in after that injury, because it is a troubling injury and they wouldn't want to rush it. I really liked seeing Nasai Wanganeen-Malira higher up the ground like they had last week. 24-3 was absolutely phenomenal. I think this is going to be a really good game, but I think I might be just siding with the Bulldogs on this one. Not very confidently, but I'm going to side with the Bulldogs purely because I think Sam Darcy can get off the leash and really turn the game into the Western Bulldogs' favour. And then the grudge match. The traditional Easter Monday game, what was formerly known as the Kennett's Curse. It's the Geelong Cats v Hawthorn. Both started the season exceptionally well. Obviously at the MCG, Hawthorn were, in my opinion, humbled a little bit last week. They'll probably get a bit comfortable. I wouldn't say cocky, but I would say they'll get a bit comfortable with the way they were playing. They'll look to respond to that. But geez, Geelong are just looking really well with Paddy Dangerfield playing as a stay-home forward. It's just looking really good. Kicked 4 goals last week. Was really good. Obviously, Jeremy Cameron, we know what the quality player he is. Kicked 5. Max Holmes is being unreal, but Bailey Smith is, hands down, without a doubt, the pickup of the season. The form he's in All-Australian form, without a doubt. 35 and a goal last week. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I think, me personally, everyone else forgot just how good Bailey Smith was pre-injury, and he's showing it with a team when they play him in the midfield where he's supposed to be playing, what a damaging player he can be. He's top 20 players in the comp when he's probably play in the midfield, just so damaging. Every team would love to have him. Hard runner, hard worker, does all the preparation right, eats right, trains hard, and it just comes adamant when he plays in the game because we see it there. And I've loved the start to Bailey Smith so far. And for what it's worth, I loved what he did last week for sticking up for his captain. Personal stuff should not be brought into the after the game and given it to him, especially after a win. So I loved how he stood up for his captain there. And I loved how when he was asked about it, does he regret it? He said, absolutely not. So I do love that in a character. Obviously, we can't see him sticking up fingers like that in games all the time, but I like the way he stood up to him and showed him, I'm a Geelong player now, and I'm gonna stand up for my leaders and the people at my club. And I think he's done that in his performance as well. And for that reason, I think I'm going to be going Geelong in a real tight one. It'll be a goal in it, this game, but I'm going to be going Geelong just. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my preview for round 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So just quickly, my tips, run over it. I've got Brisbane on tonight as we record this Thursday. Then I'll have Carlton, Essendon, Fremantle, GWS, Gold Coast, Sydney, Western Bulldogs, and Geelong. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube and you are enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on this video and a comment. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss when we upload, and hit that subscribe button. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Turn the notification bell on so you don't miss an upload. And most importantly, please leave a 5-star rating, as that's what helps push the show out there. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys then.